83 was a big win for all conservatives that have been pushing back on this crazy progressive culture that seems to be all over it, all around these days. Since Senate Bill 83 was vetoed by Governor Beshear, Secretary Adams signed the bill into law after we overrode the governor's veto. We never really got an opportunity to celebrate our victory together with a formal bill signing. That's what this is about today, a formal bill signing and a time for us to celebrate our victory. For the last 3 years, I've filed this bill. The bill for me was always about fairness and common sense. Most Kentuckians enjoy their sports and competition. They understand that boys have a physical advantage over girls, and that's just common sense, Kentucky common sense. And having girls compete against a biological male is not fair to that young lady. This issue gave Kentuckians the ability to see in sports and in other situations how special rights granted to a sector of the population actually can impede on the rights of others and create. Additionally, give a big thank you to my right here to Representative Ryan Dotson for his major contribution to this bill, which added college athletics. So we have 3 other people sitting here at the table that would like to make some brief comments, and then we'll have Secretary Adams come over here and make a big entry, and he'll put his signature on our bill today. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Representative Ryan Dotson.
I'd just like to say what an honor it is to have worked with Senator Robbie Mills on this particular issue. As we can see, it is something, and I didn't know at the time that this would turn into be one of the hottest social issues across Kentucky and even in America today. And polling across America, we see that 3 out of every 4 people polled across party lines agree that we need to save women's sports and to ensure that there is fairness across the board. And so that was a fight worth fighting for us in the Senate and in the House. And we just want the young ladies and their parents across the Commonwealth to know that we heard you, we stand with you, and we're here to lift you up and to make sure that you get your scholarships, you get your playing time, and all the things that come with Title IX. Thank you.
Next is Richard Nelson, who's the Executive Director of the Commonwealth Policy Committee.
Thank you, Senator Mills. Commonwealth Policy Center is pleased to participate in this historic ceremonial bill signing of Senate Bill 83, the Fairness in Women's Sports Act. This legislation is designed to protect at the state level athletes like Riley Gaines, distinguished swimmer on the University of Kentucky women's swim team, who had to compete against a biological male in the NCAA Nationals last spring. Of course, Riley tied for 5th place against UPenn swimmer Leah Thomas. While Riley could not be here today, I'd like to thank her for her strong voice and for speaking out on behalf of fairness in women's sports. We're also here to applaud State Senator Robbie Mills from Henderson to take the lead in the legislature on this important bill that ultimately preserves women's sports in the Commonwealth of Kentucky and keeps women safe. Also, State Representative Ryan Dotson was also instrumental in helping the bill pass in the State House, and as was mentioned earlier, added the important provision that would reach college sports as well. Thank you, Ryan. And finally, thank you, Secretary of State Michael Adams, for signing this bill into law after Governor Beshear vetoed the bill earlier this year. This is important and necessary legislation, and because of the hard work of all the ones here and all of those who co-sponsored and ultimately voted for that bill, thank you. All of the ones behind me, thank you. It's much appreciated. But because of your hard work and courage to stand, women athletes can compete on a fair and level playing field today.
Thank you, Richard. Next is Mr. David Walls, who's the Executive Director of the Family Foundation.
Thank you, Senator. It's an honor to be here. As has been said, the passage of Senate Bill 83 it represents a victory for women and girls in Kentucky, and it's an honor to be here. Honored to have done our part to help ensure the passage of this common sense bill. I also want to thank Senator Mills for your leadership, Representative Dotson for your tireless leadership in the House on getting this important bill passed. I want to echo thanks to all the pro-family leaders standing behind here and others who sponsored the bill to build momentum, voted for the bill, and our policy allies the nation. As well as I want to thank our supporters across the Commonwealth that sent literally thousands upon thousands of messages this session encouraging the passage of this bill. As we know, we're in an important moment. Biology matters, truth matters, and female athletes deserve a fair and level playing field. And as we've increasingly seen, including with the reference to former UK swimmer Riley Gaines, when males are allowed to compete in girls' sports, they take away championships, they take away recognition and opportunities that belong to female athletes. Thankfully, with SB 83 now being law, and similar laws now in 18 states across the nation, girls in Kentucky and across the nation know they can have fair opportunities. You know, it's hard to believe we just passed the 50-year anniversary of Title IX becoming law, granting federal protections for female athletes. But unfortunately, all that Title IX protects is in jeopardy. The Biden and Beshear administrations are doing right now everything they can to undermine safety, equality, and opportunities for female athletes, including President Biden's recent executive orders trying to redefine sex. We have to do all we can to continue to stand for truth and common sense values. I again commend the General Assembly for taking action and siding with female athletes over this radical gender ideology. We still have much work to do, but we know Kentucky's up for the challenge and continue to lead, standing up for our common sense values. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. And at this time, I'll invite Secretary Adams to come up to the front, and we have our bill. Let me get on the junket.
Thank you, Senator Mills.
You're welcome.
So let me just briefly explain why I'm here. Under our unique system in Kentucky, if the legislature passes a bill and is vetoed by the governor, and the legislature overrides that veto, that bill does not go back to the governor, it comes to the Secretary of State. There have been 78 bills and resolutions so far that the legislature and the governor, I suppose, have given me the opportunity to receive and to sign. I'll give you some examples. Pro-life legislation, several pro-life bills, tax relief, school choice. The list goes on and on and on. And I'm very fortunate to be in a position where I'm able to put my signature on these important pieces of legislation. And so I'm very proud to be with you all today. I see so many friends here in this room, to be here with you all today and sign this bill. Thanks so much.
We have 10 copies here.
All right.
We're gonna make sure you have your signature. Getting better, your signature's getting better. That's all right.
Thank you. Don't give me writer's cramp during the session. All right,
Last one. We'll make Richard and David fight over this. Arm wrestle.
Congratulations. Just a ceremonial pen.
That is ceremonial pin. It doesn't have anybody's name on it. That's all right.
Vic is.
Well, thank y'all so much for coming today. It's a momentous occasion, and thank you for your support of pro-family legislation all the time throughout the year. So thank you so much. Oh, sorry. Richard